Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Vainglory VIS Professional Grand Finals taken here tonight. And it is going to be an awesome matchup. I'm your host, Dragonborn. Joining me tonight, it will be Tasty Bacon and Denominate. Denominate's not here just yet, but Tasty Bacon is. And we'll be breaking down this matchup for you guys before we get into it. This is the finals. Everything comes down to this here for this finals Winters 3v3 tournament, Tasty. And let's get in and talk about our matchup. It is Tribe Gaming versus Vision Gaming. These two teams, both mobile gaming first organizations, which is kind of impressive. I mean, you look at their rosters, they're, again, competitive players that have been here for a long time, but these organizations really support this mobile gaming side of the esports realm.
Yeah, and of course, Tribe Gaming just coming in with this roster fairly recently and able to really just kind of take over. We expected a lot of great things out of them when this roster first came together back under the Immortals banner, and ever since they kind of got into the Vainglory 8, they didn't really have the level of performance you would expect in the regular season, but they were able to get second place in the Unified Championship for the summer season, and then were able to put up get the wildcard spot for Worlds and go all the way, becoming the current world champions of Vainglory. So they are a team that is incredibly strong. During the non-live events, maybe their performance sometimes suffers a bit, but they are still an incredibly strong team regardless of where they're playing.
You're absolutely right. I mean, it's incredible what they've accomplished. They've always had the ability to get that live buff, but, this is an offline tournament. This is an online tournament, not a live tournament. Yet, this entire week, Tasty, they have had a sense of purpose. They went through the quarterfinals with a very, very dominant two-game sweep, and then the semifinals, I mean, it was a 3-0. There was a couple games where it was a little close, but it was really just all Tribe the entire time.
And just to clear up some of the verbiage, because if anyone out there isn't familiar, this is a live broadcast. The games are happening live. It's not an in-person event. It can kind of get confusing when we use the terms live or online versus offline. Everything is online. It is live. It is in person is what we're talking about. When Tribe plays in person, they get this massive buff that it seems to happen every single event. This is not an in-person event. They are playing remote, but it is live and it is online. So definitely, like I said, no pre-recorded matches that we're broadcasting over or anything.
Thank you, Tasty. You are a veteran. Little things like that I guess I just take for granted. But I will say what's been different about Tribe this week through this nice performance that they've had thus far is it has been Excelsior playing in jungle every single matchup. And while, he's been playing very dominantly, he has been playing only a handful of heroes. He has been playing a very, very deep pool. In fact, in his semifinal performance, he only had to play Samuel. I mean, he was able to play it, and he played it very well. And they won every single game with it. So it's just, again, we'll see if they stick with Excelsior, if they will bring in T-Tigers for any of these matchups. We're not sure, but it has been DNZO Max Green also. And those two guys have been putting up a heck of a performance.
Yeah, I mean, when you think of Tribe, you think of all three of them. It's not like one of these teams where they have one standout player that rises above and beyond and becomes this name that kind of overshadows his teammates. It is all three of these players perform as a team, as one of the strongest combination of players in the game, and their World Championship victory shows that with DNZO, T-Tigers generally, and Max Green. You sub in Excelsior. Excelsior is still one of the stronger players out there, and he's a substitute for this team, so they still feel very confident, even if they are using their substitute. It's not it's not one of these issues where, a substitute for them is playing, so they're suddenly a dramatically weaker team. They are still a team to be feared with Excelsior in the lineup.
Absolutely. And on the other end of this match, though, there is another team, Vision Gaming. While they were a third seed going into this tournament, they've proven that they are right now the dominant, at least second place. I mean, they handled Nova with a very impressive performance. It was very, very close. Nova did almost come back in that series, but I think what stood out to us, Tasty, was their fifth game matchup. It was very fun to watch. It was an impressive match just from the very beginning at the start of the draft all the way through to how they executed what was a very unique comp. And what I love about Vision Gaming is they just bring so much to the competitive scene from a team that you wouldn't expect to have this level of maturity.
And it's a team that has been really grinding away at the competitive side of Vainglory for quite some time now, trying to just put up these numbers that to get them into the Vainglory 8. They tried multiple seasons in challengers, finally were able to break through in the most recent season, the autumn season, and get themselves into not only a top spot in challengers but also into the Vainglory 8, qualifying through the challenge battles. And they have just continued to improve with just about every time we see them on the fold. It feels like these guys get a little bit better, a little bit more comfortable, a little bit more confident in their decision making. Confidence is definitely something that is not lacking on this team. In fact, one of their biggest complaints I have about Vision Gaming is that they sometimes seem to get too confident if they get an early advantage, and it can cost them pretty heavily. So that's one of the things that I think this team really needs to work on. Shoring up is just how they play when they do get a large lead, just making sure that they don't give their opponents opportunities to get back into games.
Well, that's absolutely correct. Now, it does look like we might have T-Tigers playing for Tribe, but Vision Gaming will not have PvP Warrior. They will be playing with Tivo, who hasn't played very well. He's played, I think, one matchup. I think that was actually as a sub for Shady. I don't think PvP had been subbed out, but PvP Warrior not playing tonight due to conflicting schedules is a real shame because he has been, I would say, definitely the workhorse for this team. I mean, in the lane, he's been phenomenal. He's put up quite a performance, and his lane cruel was really something to watch. So we'll see. I'm not sure who does the drafts for Vision, but without PvP Warrior, Vision might have to look for something new to be able to deal with Tribe.
Yeah, well, it's definitely going to be a big question mark that has to be answered. Is how is Tivo going to step up to fill in for PvP Warrior? Because when you think of Vision Gaming, PvP Warrior and Shaded Talent, they are always very consistent players, and Kaz is kind of the one factor that can either have a hit or miss game generally. And now if you have someone who's filling in for one of those consistent players, you need them to be able to step up and be that consistent, strong carry. Because if you have two kind of question marks on your team going into a game, that's more options that your opponents have for how they want to try and focus it. We saw in the games where they sort of struggled a bit yesterday, Nova, they focused the jungle. They focused on Kaz and made sure that Kaz didn't have that much of an impact. Now, if they can choose, if Tribe comes into this game and they see Tivo there, they know if they feel like they can take an advantage of the fact that Tivo is starting and put pressure on both the lane and the jungle, it could lead to some very quick victories.
All right. It absolutely could. It looks like we're ready for the draft. So I'm going to check in with both the teams and see if we're good to go and get this one started. And of course, it looks like Denomine has joined us. Welcome, Denomine. We're getting ready for the finals. We're getting into the draft in just a few minutes.
Yeah, should be an exciting matchup here for the finals. Obviously, Tribe world champions, but Vision has really shown what they've got going for them.
It absolutely does. As we jump in, here we go. The draft for game number 1 between Tribe and Vision Gaming.
All right, so we'll see where these bands go for the first couple of rotations. That's a surprising one. Varia A-side ban coming out of Tribe. You typically see a team leave the Varia open and force B-side to ban it away. Over on the side of Vision, they do not want to let that Turnwalker through. And Tribe, they immediately go ahead and grab themselves that Grace. So Tribe knew exactly what they wanted to get on this first rotation. And I think they, by banning away the Varia, I think they could have left it open because that it would have been banned on the other side. But then they get themselves either the Churnwalker or the Grace in return.
Yeah, I think it was definitely a little bit different. We obviously don't normally see the A-side Varia ban, but Tribe, very flexible players. They don't need to get that Varia through. We can get Dienzio on something like a Ringo or a Vox. Potentially ban away the Blackfeather, who tends to be a pretty strong pick into those two heroes, just due to his gap closing ability, his ability to get in, get an Atlas Pauldron down. But they're going to ban away the Rona. So, that's obviously an answer to the Sky ban that just came through from Vision.
And so grabbing themselves the Arden, they're now going to get themselves the Blackfeather because the Rona was banned away. Does remain as a flex pick because if the Rona isn't on the other side of the fold, you then have the ability to choose, do you want to go into the lane or do you want to go into the jungle with this Blackfeather? So Vision Gaming, they're doing a really good job in this draft thus far as well. And both of these teams really are excellent drafting teams. And it looks like for Dienzio, they want to get that Ringo. Ringo is one of these picks that throughout VISPRO this season, we have been seeing quite a bit here, Denomine.
Yeah, we absolutely have. And again, the Blackfeather is a very strong pick, specifically into the Ringo. Tiger is going to be on the Jungle Saw, it looks like.
Very likely a CP Jungle Saw to be coming through. This is going to be a fun composition for the side of Tribe. I mean, it could go either way. They could put the Ringo in the jungle if they really wanted to, but you have to assume that it's going to be the Crystal Jungle Saw. That just makes a lot more sense. Or, they could really go off the wall here, have it be a Saw port with a Weapon Grace or something along those lines. You never really know with Tribe in a tournament like this. They do like to kind of go a little bit off the wall. But this is definitely going to make Vision Gaming think. You see, using a good amount of their time. They really hadn't used any of their bonus time prior to this pick, but now seeing what is on the other side for Tribe, they need to try and figure out what they want to do to deal with this.
Yeah, I definitely think it's going to be Tiggs in the jungle on the Saw. We've seen him play it already this tournament, so definitely something that he's comfortable playing. He's got wins under his belt with that pick. And it is something that you don't see incredibly often. So as we see them digging into their bonus time, Vision at least, you can definitely tell that the draft that Tribe have put together has really got Vision thinking now, this is not something we probably play against every single day. What do we want to pick to counter this?
And using almost all of their bonus time in that discussion, they do go with the Celeste. The Celeste is a pick that, can work really well against a Saw because he's very immobile. You can get a lot of damage down onto him. But Ringo is actually someone that we've seen historically in competitive play be able to do pretty well against a Celeste. Once you get to the mid to late game, if Ringo can find any kind of flank, if he can get around into a weird position and get onto Celeste, he melts through her health before she has a chance to respawn. So that's definitely something we're going to have to keep our eyes on. Once we get past like the 10-minute mark or so, the 10 to 15-minute mark, you have to keep your eyes on the Ringo's positioning and trying to get onto the backlines and execute that Celeste.
Yeah, absolutely. And I do think this is probably going to be a jungle Celeste for Kaz. It's something that all through this league last year, we saw him play and really excel on. And I think Celeste can get bullied pretty heavily by Ringo, specifically this update in the lane. So it makes more sense to go with the Blackfeather. He'll have the Book of Eulogies. He can get himself the barrier with his on point. And then Celeste in the jungle, very, very fast clear speed. She'll accelerate to level 8, which is really where Celeste starts to take off. Now, she does need some items to back that up, but getting the overdrive on that Heliogenesis for the extended range is definitely something that's very useful against a Saw and a Ringo.
Yeah, that's definitely... I mean, both of these teams have ways that they could win this just by looking at the draft and looking at the compositions and if they play perfectly, either side could have a shot. But again, you still have to feel like the favorite is going to be Tribe coming in just because they are the world champions. They are the current top team in all of Vainglory. So that you have to give them
3v3.
Yeah, all of Vainglory 3v3. Well, that's all that exists at the moment. So unless you're on the alpha super private realm right now, but for now, as far as public play is concerned, Tribe are the best team in all of Vainglory, so you got to give them a little bit of an edge in pretty much any matchup they go into.
Yeah, absolutely. As we see, obviously, the meta rotation right now, both of the carries will rotate to the backs, get that ambient golden experience, and get to level 2 so that when this first fight breaks out, they have 2 of their primary abilities ready to go. But we do see Vision Gaming coming over. There's a contest here.
Yeah, there is going to be a bit of a fight. It does go over to the side of Tribe, however. Vision Gaming, they were willing to give it a shot, but they didn't really want to commit to a skirmish there. And so they quickly just rotate on back up. Everyone is going to be pretty much on par, with the exception of T-Tigers, who did get the extra gold and experience from the Elder Treant. And so that's going to be a slight lead for the side of Tribe as they look to put a lot of pressure on. But Max Green getting stunned up, taking a lot of damage from these minions as well. He has to be very, very careful. Obviously, still has the healing flask, but I think he's just going to go ahead and recall back to base for now, heal himself on up, and just rejoin the fight in a few moments.
Yeah, very, very close on Max Green there, but one of the big reasons it's kind of scary to fight this Saw at any point is that Roadie run specifically, it really functions well at all points of the game because it's based on missing health. So if you get into an extended skirmish down there by that Elder Treant, Saw can obviously come in and either execute that Treant, or if a player, including the captain, is below half health, that Roadie run really does a lot, even with only one crystal bit.
I have to laugh a little bit because I took a glance over at the Twitch chat and I see Chief Pat in chat saying the winning team gets a new contract. As well, Tribe, they do get themselves first blood here. Shaded Talent, he's going to be in a lot of trouble as all three members of Tribe collapse onto him and take him down. And that's going to be 2 quick kills going the way of Tribe to start this game off. Again, a very solid beginning to this game. 3 minutes in, and they've already got themselves about 1,000 gold lead in their pockets.
Yeah, just like we just got done mentioning, that Roadie run coming out of Saw was able to basically drop TiVo down to no health at all. And that was sitting on 2 crystal bits as the Saw. From there, with the help of Max Green and the crowd control and slows that he provides, Saw was able to keep the stacks up. He does have a single weapon blade, and at this point in the game, a single weapon blade, if you have a full spun up Saw, it doesn't matter if late game you're going down the crystal path, that Saw can chunk you out, as we saw happen to Shaded Talent there. Beautiful rotation down by Dienzio, helping the team, saving a little bit of time, and it came out perfectly in time for T-Tiger's jungle rotation. He was able to get that Treant down in the middle, and then turn around and clean out his jungle as well. And now they're in the lane again looking for Kaz.
Yeah, Kaz will pop that healing flask to stay alive, but he is under a lot of pressure, and his teammates are not going to be here to help because they're taking out the Elder Treant. So this is a chance for a lot of damage to be done to this turret, as Kaz, he cannot stick around. In fact, he's going to get popped by Dienzio, going very aggressive under the turret. Max Green and T-Tigers spotting out the rest of Vision as they try and rotate up, but now they just turn their attention onto that first turret for a little bit. They get about a little under half of its health taken care of before finally backing away. And so again, strong play coming out from Tribe, just taking advantage of these rotation timings as T-Tigers almost gets taken out by a scout trap.
Yeah, almost. Gonna go ahead and use that healing flask so that he can safely rotate through the rest of his jungle. And one little bit of a downside division here is, yes, Kaz is a pretty fantastic Celeste. As I mentioned, we've seen him in this league before. However, because TiVo is playing and it's not PvP Warrior, Kaz is up here in the lane as TiVo is more comfortable in the jungle. And I think that does hinder them a little bit because, again, during this early and mid-game portion, Ringo is very good at bullying out a Celeste who doesn't have a whole lot of crystal power and doesn't have that level 8 range advantage that she gets. And that's what we've seen. It's Dienzio constantly applying pressure in the lane. TiVo's not able to make effective enough rotations through the jungle because, as a melee hero, he's very subject to Max Green's Holy Nova, and he just now hit level 6. So he just now has that Rose offensive.
Yeah, he's going to be able to start dodging around some of these abilities, dodging out the Hellfire Brew if it's targeted on him. Right now, Kaz just has to eat that damage, the burn coming through. Thankfully, the Vanguard blocks a lot of it, but you can see Dienzio already trying to put this heavy pressure onto Kaz, trying to just make him miss CS and force him out of the lane while they just continue to put pressure onto this turret. This is going to be how Tribe wins this game right now because they have so much pressure between the Saw and the Ringo. Once Grace hits level 6, it's going to get that much more difficult. Dienzio nearly falls to a nice Solar Storm, but a great stun is going to keep him alive thanks to Max Green with that one. T-Tigers does find a kill. Shaded Talent trying to get a trade. Nice power collapse from Kaz will again just kind of force people to back away, but Shaded Talent could be in some trouble here. Gets slowed up by Grace. T-Tigers not going to be in range to help. Scout Trap gonna do a huge chunk of damage to him once again. but he's going to be A-okay as they start up this treant. Max Green's actually going to take that for himself while T-Tigers just recalls out to safety.
Yeah, TiVo not quite seeing where Saul was because T-Tigers stopped attacking, wasn't able to find that on point that he was narrowly in range of, and that allowed T-Tigers to get out alive. Therefore, we're sitting right now at a 4-0 lead for the side of Tribe. They're sitting up 2,000 gold, as well as that first turret is not in very healthy condition. The next time Dienzio gets a wave, even one minion underneath that turret, now that he has the Spell Sword and a Lucky Strike complete, it's only going to be a matter of a couple of shots before that goes down. And as he's approaching level 8, we'll likely see an early infusion come out of him pretty soon, too.
And this is Kaz in a world of trouble. The great Hellfire Brew into a Suppressing Fire combo from the side of Tribe to find that kill and the turret. And that's something else I wanted to touch on, is the fact that they had a 2,000 gold lead without having really taken any objectives. That is purely just on the CS differences that they've been able to accrue, that they had that lead. And now that they took that first turret, it's just going to continue to grow even further.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a lot of them balancing their gold efficiently, too. Obviously, Max Green in the lane as often as he can when he knows T-Tigers is safely rotating to his backs. Crystal Sentry is up. Oh, no.
Kaz is in a world of trouble as they collapse onto him once again. Holy Nova to prevent the Vanguard from Shaded Talent as they secure that kill. TiVo is going to do what he can, but this is just Tribe really kind of taking control of this game. Even though we're still very early on, there is a chance for a comeback, but it is already starting to feel like it's looking pretty grim for the side of Vision Gaming here.
Yeah, Celeste very capable of being a hyper carry in the
Dienzio doesn't even care about this turret.
No!
Dienzio just walked underneath that turret and got a kill, didn't even care. They do get out now. Dienzio, he's still not done though, fires a Hellfire Brew. That one does not get blocked. It was another Vanguard, but Shaded Talent, he may not be so lucky. He has the Healing Flask in order to stay alive. T-Tigers is gonna nearly fall. A Crucible keeps him on his feet. Tribe, they are playing a dangerous game right now, but they are getting away with it.
Yeah, and the Tyrant's Monocle now
yeah, Dienzio's dead.
Yeah,
wait, no, the slow is not enough. TiVo can't catch him. He's doing everything in his power. He does finally catch up to him for that shutdown and to prevent a perfect game. T-Tigers, he's going to be healing up, trying to do what he can onto Kaz. Kaz is very low. TiVo does get a second kill, but Kaz falls in the process. Now with the minion underneath the turret, they want to try and take one of these objectives from themselves, but the minions are now gone. And so TiVo, he's going to be taking a bit of damage. They have to get this wave pushed in before they can get any more damage, so they have to back out.
Yeah, beautiful execution there by Max Green, and T-Tigers able to find that one kill onto Celeste with the last breath he had. Probably saved the turret, in all honesty, as low as it is. But then to follow that play up, Max Green immediately turns his attention onto the minions, clears out the few that are underneath the turret's aggro range, causing the barrier to come back, and then with beautiful decision, full health, rotates up further in the lane, catches the aggro of the incoming minions, saves the turret, and saves Tribe from Vision getting that 600 gold boost that they would have got by taking down that first objective.
And Tribe, like I said, they were playing a very dangerous game by staying up that far. It didn't really cost them too much. Well, it's another Hellfire Brew. Dienzio, Kaz is starting to do a lot of damage. T-Tigers, he's going to get caught up there. They trade 1 for 1, though, but now TiVo, how much work can he do? It actually doesn't stick onto Dienzio. He kind of got a little bit of cold feet there, it felt like, because you got to feel like when you are a Blackfeather, you have an advantage going up against this Ringo. Of course, jungle versus lane matchup means that the Ringo does have a few more items, and so TiVo really did not want to push that issue any further, but Dienzio, he is not done. He's coming on in, tries to steal away the Treant, doesn't grab it, and so they are just going to be backing off for now, you'd think, because Shaded Talent, so much damage being done by Dienzio with just the Spell Sword and the Tyrant's Monocle to his name for offensive items, along with the Infusion. So he's still just able to chunk targets down.
Yeah, absolutely. And, specifically, as you mentioned, TiVo not able to stick onto Dienzio. Dienzio's doing too much damage because we have to look at that gold difference between the lane and the jungle. Blackfeather, huge counter towards the Ringo, but because he's in the jungle, he doesn't have the gold to compete with where Dienzio is in his build. Enzio is sitting on 2 tier 3 offensive items and a tier 3 defense. TiVo just now completed his tier 3 defense, but is only sitting on a Sorrow Blade. He doesn't have that Poison Shiv to counter out any of the healing that Max Green can offer, as well as he doesn't have an Atlas Pauldron to slow down the barrage of bullets that come out of this Ringo when he uses his Twirling Silver. You know, that's one nice thing about the Ringo. It is a weapon power hero that you don't necessarily have to build attack speed on early on in the game because he has some attack speed naturally, and that Solar Storm going to go a little bit wide. I think Kaz is kicking himself for that one.
Yeah, definitely wanted to have that be a little bit more accurate. It wouldn't have stolen the gold miner, but it may have at least dissuaded the side of Tribe from going for it. Meanwhile, they just chase on up. Shaded Talent nearly falls, manages to get himself out of harm's way. TiVo is the target. We've already seen Vienzio just ignore these turrets before, but this time he's not going to commit that heavily to this turret. Although Kaz shows up and he's gonna get focused down. Vienzio blocking out the core collapse, getting the heal from Max Green. And that's just the pressure that Tribe is able to put on. You see, as soon as someone gets to the lane, they're immediately brought down to about half health, and it allows the rest of the team to stick around and look for pressure on the turret. Gauntlet goes down. Solar Storm only going to clip Max Green, but the minions have been cleared out. They will be able to force Tribe back a little bit of distance because T-Tigers is pretty low.
Yeah, Dienzio almost sitting on the gold that he needs to complete his second monocle. If he does go the Tornado Trigger route, he has the gold ready to go for that. As far ahead as Tribe are right now, I say you just go for the heavy damage. You're already, with just a couple attacks, almost able to bring down anybody on the side of Vision. So, you know, that just a little bit of additional weapon power and crit, you know, that could be the difference in someone living and dying. You know, that could be the difference in you pushing an objective or not. And again, Ringo has that natural attack speed. So with a Twirling Silver, with a weapon infusion, that's going to likely be his next purchase once he gets 500 gold. This Ringo build is incredibly scary for all members of the side of Vision right now. The only armor built is on TiVo, and it's only that tier 1 light armor, which is very, very minuscule to the massive amount of damage that Dienzio does.
Yeah, it's not really going to be reducing anywhere near enough damage. Shaded Talent did finish off his Echo and grab a light armor for himself. You got to figure he's going to look to go into an Atlas as well, but this is a game that Vision Gaming, they really need to stall it out. They've done a good job of stalling it thus far, not really losing much else in far as objectives go. You know, they haven't given up too much damage on their tier 2 turret after falling very far behind early on. They are still down by over 5,000 gold here at the 14-minute mark, but this is a game that it could have been much worse if they were not playing this defense properly.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, realistically, looking at the builds where they are now, the side of Vision realistically needs like another 8,000 gold before they can like convincingly win a fight with perfect execution. As we see, TiVo already forced out here. That barrier from his on point basically does nothing. It blocks out like a quarter of one of Dienzio's attacks. It's really all coming down to Kaz here and his zoning potential with the Heliogenesis. Solar Storm's out. This is looking rough.
Oh, that's a gauntlet getting thrown by Shaded Talent. Doesn't quite get a stun, but it keeps Dienzio out of the fight. Max Green will heal up T-Tigers. Second gauntlet comes down. T-Tigers has dropped. Vision Gaming, they're all still alive. Kaz is very low, but so is TiVo, and they have to back away. They couldn't get the kill into Dienzio, but they did find T-Tigers. Shaded Talent, he's going to be sacrificing himself here. And you see, he just tries to run as far away as he can to help keep this turret alive so that Kaz and TiVo can return to defend it. But that was, again, a pretty good fight. These gauntlets from Shaded Talent, we saw yesterday, he had some amazing gauntlets throughout the day, throughout the semifinal matchup. He knows how to place them in a way so that even if he doesn't necessarily get a stun, it will usually at least split the team and prevent one or two of the members from being able to contribute the way that they want to. That's exactly what they did there. They split Dienzio up, didn't allow him to contribute while they took down T-Tigers. Now the Kraken's being captured, but they have all three members up, looking to just harass for now. The Kraken's not going down terribly quickly. Hellfire Brew does come out. Will get vanguarded, but Kaz is still going to be burning. Max Green, doesn't quite get hit by that Solar Storm, but Kraken's doing a lot of work. This is a big opportunity for Vision. They focus on T-Tigers. He gets the healing. Dienzio charging in, but he gets stunned. They're going to be able to try and get some more damage on him, but they can't quite follow up. Kraken is still aggroed and is still pretty close. I don't know if they're going to let it fully reset. They are. Okay, so everyone should be able to back away. And again, you got to figure that's a win for Vision Gaming to be able to get the Kraken stopped without losing anyone. Oh, great Gauntlet prevents T-Tigers from getting the roadie run as they find the kill. Max Green gets stunned again. Vision Gaming starting to turn this around.
Yeah, that was a really bad decision by the side of Tribe to actually start up that Kraken. Max Green was dangerously low. Dienzio was trying to use his damage while Shaded Talent was not with the team to force Tivo and Kaz back. He wasn't able to find the damage he wanted because, again, Celeste's range at this point makes it very easy to zone out a target like Ringo, even though he does have the tier 3 shield against the Celeste. You know, coming up on, you know, full 3 items here from Kaz, this Celeste really doesn't care about shield too much. And, you know, off the back of that, because Tribe was forced out so early, and there was really nothing that Tribe could do to recontest with T-Tigers being down, Max Green being low on health.
Very split fight here, though. Kaz is on one side while Tivo's on the other, but Kaz takes down T-Tigers. Tivo trying to run away from Dienzio, but this is doing good. This is pulling them away from the Kraken. Dienzio's going to get re-engaged on. Tivo feeling confident, but he's going to go very low. Might even fall here, but Dienzio, he has other plans. He goes after Shaded Talent. At the same time, though, Kaz, he's just pushing with this Kraken, getting as much work done as he can. Shaded Talent, a great gauntlet, but he doesn't get the stun onto Dienzio. Second gauntlet over the next wall just to buy himself time, preventing the members of Tribe from being able to recall as Kaz gets that Kraken pushed into the Bane Crystal turrets, only backing out when T-Tigers was respawning. This is phenomenal play coming out from Vision Gaming of just objective control, knowing when to push, when to back off, splitting focus, and things of that nature. They are doing such a good job when things go chaotic.
Yeah, absolutely. And if Shaded Talent wasn't the player to watch for this game, he definitely is showing that he should have been. The gauntlets have just been so perfect. We're at that point now with an Atlas Pauldron complete on Shaded Talent. This is where they can actually take, or potentially take, a true full-on health team fight. They have the utility that they need at this point, where if they can land that Atlas onto Dienzio, his damage output is going to be substantially decreased because he does not have any additional attack speed. You're essentially going to cancel out that twirling silver and then some. So definitely going to be important for Shaded Talent into the next fight to actually land that. But Vision Gaming, they've been making really, really smart engages and, you know, finding, you know, okay, Tribe, you know, they've just made this mistake. We can capitalize on it.
Kaz could be in trouble, but a gauntlet's going to keep him alive. T-Tigers get stunned by it. He's able to get out to safety. Core Collapse does get blocked. Solar Storm is going to go wide. That's not an ideal situation. Vision Gaming, they do force Tribe back. Tribe did have to use an ultimate from Grace in order to stay alive, and the Echo was also popped. So Max Green still has an ultimate, but doesn't have that Echo for quite some time, whereas Shaded Talent, he doesn't have a gauntlet, but he's going to have the Echo available in a couple of seconds. So it'll be interesting to see how they decide to play around these cooldowns. What's most important, though, is Kaz and Dienzio. Those two you have to keep your eyes on, because if Dienzio gets onto Kaz unrestricted, Kaz will melt.
Yeah, and Dienzio, T-Tigers and Dienzio, they are a beautiful target for this Grace to use that Divine Intervention because of the amount of damage that the side of Vision do have. You can obviously use that Divine Intervention to cut down some of that incoming damage while providing that burst heal. But we also have to look because Shaded Talent only has his Fountain for the heal. So in that last engage, you mentioned that the Divine Intervention was used. The Fountain wasn't. So if Vision would have overcommitted to that fight, then it very likely would have been Tribe turning things around, but they played it safe.
Oh, Dienzio, he's getting collapsed on. It's a 3-on-2, but they can't quite stop Dienzio. They can't get that stun. And now T-Tigers has gotten here. Solar Storm just melts through T-Tigers. Shaded Talent, though, he eats that Hellfire Brew. He's going to be ticking down a little bit. Some good damage onto Max Green. They hold that gauntlet up for a very long time, but now Kaz, he gets focused. There's another gauntlet to keep him alive, just keeping everyone away from Kaz. That is Shaded Talent's only goal here, and he's doing a great job of it. Another Solar Storm. That one goes through Dienzio, but doesn't get a kill. T-Tigers is on the hunt. Kaz, he gets caught. He is going to drop. TiVo is going to be making his way back out from the base, but I just don't know if he's going to be able to do enough. You see the Crystal Sentry trying to slow everyone. TiVo, sorry, gets the kill into T-Tigers. I think that's all he's going to be able to get, though. Dienzio and Max Green, they're low, but TiVo does not want to risk giving them the ace.
Yeah, TiVo does finally have an Atlas Pauldron. Here we go, though.
He's in trouble, though. Dienzio is just melting through him. TiVo, I feel like you have to go aggressive there, but with the Divine Intervention, Dienzio wins that fight, and an ace for Tribe at a very crucial time in this game. 21, almost 22 minutes in, they can start up this Kraken.
Yeah, and Dienzio is
I'm not going to take the Kraken before Kaz respawns, though.
Yeah.
Chance for that steal. I don't know if he's going to throw it immediately, though. You got to see. You have to figure they're going for it. Kaz, throw the ult.
Oh, man,
he's not going to throw it. He's not going to throw it. Oh, sad days. You got to at least take that chance. I feel like that's a missed opportunity because you have to assume that they're going for it. It's such a low cooldown ultimate, especially this late in the game. I think you have to just throw that out there, but they don't take the chance. Kraken does get secured by Tribe and will be marching towards the Vision base, but after the way this game started, Domine, this has turned into a dramatically different game than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, it's very, very close, and a lot of that has to do with, again, just the fact that Vision has made it late enough into this game to actually pick up some of the things that they need to actually win this one out. We now have 2 Atlas problems complete. However, we don't have a lot of damage on this Blackfeather. We have a Sorrow Blade and what looks to be eventually a Tornado Trigger. Kaz is really the sole damage source here for the team, realistically, and he's done such a great job on focusing T-Tigers and forcing T-Tigers out of the fight, even killing him in several of these fights before he's able to have any effect on the team. And quite often when Max Green is just a hair out of reach for his help, the Divine Intervention a couple times has just been a couple steps out of place due to some fantastic gauntlet placement coming out of Shaded Talent. And Vision, they are really putting up a fantastic fight here.
And this next team fight could very well decide the game because we are late enough now that the death timer is going to be very, very long. The Kraken got that choke point turret. This is Kaz and Dienzio taking a lot of damage. TiVo goes in deep. They do get out one of the Divine Interventions from Max Green. TiVo has to use a Rose Offensive to get out to safety. Solar Storm goes through, mostly hits Max Green, who's able to soak up a lot of that damage thanks to the Holy Shield. And it looks like it will just be, for the most part, a reset here. No gauntlets were used for Shaded Talent, so he still has Gauntlet and Echo available. But he did use his Fountain. His only option for healing has been used, whereas Max Green still has a Fountain and still has an ultimate.
Yeah, still has that Divine Intervention with a Shatter Glass as well. It's going to reduce even more of that incoming damage while it's being used onto one of his allies, as well as provide a massive burst heal. And when you pair it with that Crystal Infusion, you're getting even a little bit more heal. And as well, you're getting a lower cooldown, which is so essential to how this race needs to play these fights. But as we get into this game now, Kaz, he's full build, level 12 Infusion, and that is a scary point for this Celeste to be on, because now he's going to start to heal as he dishes out that damage as well. And we already have seen what he's able to do to T-Tigers as soon as that suppressing fire gets dropped.
And they're just trying to get some gold onto TiVo. He needs to re-up his infusion as it's about to run out, but he does not have the gold to do so. This is a very risky situation that Vision Gaming are currently in. They do get the infusion, so they do have themselves ready to fight. Kaz is going to eat that Hellfire Brew again. Throws out a Core Collapse just to delay the engagement. Dienzio is getting so much damage on the Kaz, though. Fountain comes through. There's a Solar Storm onto T-Tigers, but it's not getting the damage they need. A nice block by Dienzio will keep him from getting stunned on the Core Collapse. Gauntlet was used, but Shaded Talent did not use the Echo. This could actually be very bad. Kaz is down. Shaded Talent, he's going to fall as well. And this is going to be the game with minions already pushing in. TiVo is not going to be able to do enough on his own to stop this, you don't figure. And this should be Tribe able to close this one out because they have a long time before Kaz and Shaded Talent are back up in these turrets. They just get obliterated. So Tribe, Vision Gaming, they put up one hell of a fight here, but Tribe do hold on and get themselves a victory in the end at just about 26 minutes into this one.
Yeah, the last few seconds of that game, Kaz made a choice that ended up bringing this one home for Tribe. Turned around, thought he could get the stun onto T-Tigers before the roadie run landed. Wasn't quite in time. He took a big 800 damage spike, and from there, Dienzio with the boots proc was able to come in, get those last couple hits. Shaded Talent, who also turned around to try to save Kaz, paid his life for that choice. And in the end, if you make a mistake against Tribe, these guys are going to punish you for it at every step of the way. And unfortunately, this late in the game, that last mistake was all that Vision could take, and Tribe just pushed to the end.
A great game from both sides, but it is Tribe that takes game number one. They had a massive lead early. The fact that this game even went so long is kind of a big statement being made by Vision, but unfortunately not quite able to keep it up long enough, and Tribe get the first win. But it is a best of 5, so it is not game point just yet. They do still need 2 more victories in order to claim the championship for VISPRO. So we're going to throw it back over to Dragonborn at the desk to get us set up for game number 2.
Thank you, Tasty. Thank you, Denominate. You're absolutely right. What a close matchup that was. Tribe looked really great the early game. Vision, though, I mean, even though they have a sub here on TiVo, he filled that Black Feather role very well. We'll see how he plays other heroes as we get to the draft. One thing I think we have to talk about before we get into this next game is just how you're going to approach the draft with Tribe, because Tribe is not afraid of picking these power picks. Varia Band first and picking up Ringo on A side. It's one of those things where you look at, like, man, they want to come in, they want to play what they know they can play well and also enjoy playing. And I think Dienzio is going to want to put himself on a hero and not let it get banned away, just because he enjoys playing Ringo and it's such a powerful spot right now.
Yeah, I really don't think it matters what you put Dienzio on. He's pretty comfortable on just about any hero in the game that's realistically feasible for the lane. You can put him on a Glaive or Rona. You can put him all the way back to his roots onto a Scarf, a Vox. It's so difficult to ban anybody on Tribe out of their comfort hero pool. I mean, you can look all the way over at Max Green. He came and was kind of just this average captain, and he really developed his skills and pushed himself and became the best captain in the world, at least, as far as what he's proven. But, you put him on something like a Churnwalker or a Grace or an Arden, he's just such an absolute playmaker. He changes everything about the game and just how mechanically skilled and gifted he is. And when you put all 3 of them together, T-Tiger's one of the most feared junglers in the world ever since Vainglory has really had a competitive scene. So this is really an all-star super team. And Tribe, I think Vision put up a fantastic fight, and I think there's definitely a lot to be said about them going into game 2. They can definitely take games if they play as well as they did in game 1. But Tribe, they're very good with their endurance and their stamina. So as we get later and later into this best of 5, I do expect Tribe to continue looking like the strong team, whereas I'm not sure Vision has the stamina or mental fortitude to potentially go to a game 5.
Maybe. We'll have to see. They just came out of a Game 5 series against Nova last night. We'll see if they can make it. We're going to take a quick break, everybody, but when we come back, we'll be jumping into our second match of this best of 5. So make sure you guys don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this.
Ben, Sam, and Ken are on separate journeys to defeat the menacing Vile Dragon. But let's just say luck isn't on their side. If only there was a way for them to find each other and band together. Well, that's why there's Band. It's a mobile app that allows people to come together using common interests. With Band, you can find fellow gamers, chat, schedule gaming sessions, and conduct polls. Stage epic battles with friends while sharing videos and photos along the way. So try Band today. Band. Be together.
Welcome back, everybody. We are here live at the VIS desk, and we are jumping into our second matchup here between Tribe and Vision. These two teams going head-to-head just came out of an exciting matchup where Tribe did take the win, but Vision sure giving them a run for their money. Let's see how they fare in game number 2. I think we're about ready to get in for this draft. So we're going to just give it teams a quick second here to nominate and Tasty. But what can Vision do now? I mean, we talked about really can't. I mean, D'Enzio on the Tribe roster, he can play pretty much everything. But is there something you can do to make Tribe feel somewhat uncomfortable when you start off the match?
I don't know if you can really put Tribe in an uncomfortable spot unless if you just draft something that you are entirely comfortable with that Tribe hasn't seen or had to deal with before. And while it may be less of discomfort and more of just Tribe having to alter their strategy to play around it, but I definitely think that Vision Gaming, they've really shown up big in VISPRO, and I think coming from that VIS League, where we've seen these players switch around on a couple teams, and finally, when they found themselves underneath this Vision roster, they found the coordinated synergy that they really needed to excel, and they rose from kind of those middle high-end middle class challenger players into a team made it all the way into the VG8 and is now going toe-to-toe with Tribe, who is, we've mentioned time and time again, they are the world champions. So for that last game to be as close as it was, I'm really impressed by the way Vision played, and I think they just realistically need to keep playing their game, and there's potential for them.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to start the draft to see how they fare in the second game. As Vision will be switching over to A side. Down one game.
So as we get into this one, Dragonborn, you can see that it is going to be the Churnwalker ban for Vision. Once again, this is, again, highly likely to force out a Varia ban from the side of Tribe, but we'll see. Maybe Tribe feels confident enough that without PvP Warrior there, that they may not have as much ability to play this Varia. We might even see Varia get left open here, or are they going to ban away the Varia, leave that Grace available? Or the Rona and the Black Feather. There's a lot of different options for where they could go here, and having that sub in kind of changes things up a little bit in the draft as well.
Yeah, it definitely does. It's a different hero pool that you have to be planned to deal with. I think if you are Tribe, you can let the Varia through, as they literally just did. But Varia, while she can be a strong pick, especially if you can get ahead, she does have her counters as well, similar to the Celeste, maybe not quite as much. A Ringo, if he does get an advantageous position onto a Varia, the just pure burst that a Ringo brings, just based on his natural attack speed and how aggressive he can go in his build, can cripple a Varia pretty early on if he's able to get any sort of lead. And again, if you're Tribe, you're bullying early and making sure D'Enzio gets into a comfortable portion of his build. So now with 2 captains banned and a captain picked for the side of Vision, I was going to say either a captain will be picked here, or if Tribe do pick a carry, then another captain will likely be banned in that second ban by the side of Vision, just to try to limit anything that they can. But with the Lyra first pick, this is something that Max Green is also very, very good on. Again, very good on basically any of the captains, but Lyra specifically allows him to be very, very aggressive with D'Enzio in the lane. It allows them to put additional pressure on the enemy laner while maintaining a fair amount of sustainability for D'Enzio. So this is a great pick. It's obviously also a healer, so that kind of almost matches what you can do with the Grace on the side of Vision. So I just think overall Tribe have played this draft really well so far. And there's the Varia ban.
Yeah, I was gonna say we might see Varia make it all the way through if neither team really wants to play her, but it is gonna get banned away. So I do actually really like the Grace pick there from the side of Vision. Even though Varia was open, the fact that they picked up that Grace, it forced the hand of Tribe to have to grab that Lyra because, like you said, if they didn't grab Lyra gets banned by Tribe and all of a sudden, or by Vision, and all of a sudden Tribe has to go down to a 5th support, which very likely would be either a Fortress or a Lance or a Finn at that point, but it's still something that they didn't want to have to do. But by banning away the Sky early, that just allows Tribe to grab themselves this Rona, and they just banned away one of the stronger counters to the Rona in that Sky. So Vision Gaming gonna have to, obviously, I would assume that they have something in mind to go up against the Rona, because you don't ban away the Sky when your opponents have the next pick unless you know that you have some way to deal with a Rona pick.
Yeah, and the Sky ban, incredibly questionable there. There's not really any hero left that has quite the impact on a Rona that the Sky does, just due to obviously her constantly being able to stay away from Rona. Now, there are other picks that, if everything falls into piece correctly, can work well into the Rona. Kroll, one of them. Blackfeather, if you get a lead early, can be one of them as well. But I think this is a mistake by the side of Vision, in all honesty. That Sky ban, pretty unnecessary, even though it is something that D'Enzio likes to play and excels on. By taking that away, you've now taken that away from yourself. You've given Tribe a huge advantage, and the draft isn't even over yet.
At the same time, though, they kind of got put into a rough spot, because if you don't ban the Sky, all of a sudden then Tribe can just pick that up, and we know D'Enzio plays an exceptionally good weapon Sky, or they can flex it down into the jungle as well. But like you said, I'm assuming that they had something in mind, but the fact that they're using so much of this bonus time, maybe they didn't quite have a plan for what to deal with a Rona. Obviously, the Kroll, like you said, it's one of the picks that can work well against the Rona, but you need something that can deal with her in the lane. Oh boy, this is the Vision Gaming special of going for yesterday. Wow. We saw it as a lane carry Kroll going toe-to-toe with a Blackfeather. We could see the Kroll in the lane once again, but this time in the hands of Kaz. And Tribe, they're going to go with the Saw pickup once more to deal with a Kashka. This is some unconventional drafting that we are getting treated to here, Denominate.
Unconventional drafting, but exciting drafting. And, we have to imagine this is going to be a Kroll in the lane up against the Rona. As you mentioned, we saw them play it the other day. Kashka, while she was once very, very OP in the lane, when you could build, an Aftershock and 2 Crucibles and 2 Fountains and a pair of boots, but that's no longer the case. So Kashka, going to look to be aggressive in the jungle, is actually pretty decent into the Crystal Saw, because as soon as he drops that Suppressing Fire, you can use your Pouncy Fun, you can use your Twirly Death, and thanks to your movement speed, you can get out of that Suppressing Fire very easily. Even with the Roadie run, since you haven't taken a ton of damage from the Suppressing Fire, it's not going to do a massive amount of damage. And from there, you can really just lay the hurt onto a Saw. I'm still really, really worried about the Rona. While the Kroll and the Grace function fairly well into the Rona, they're going to have to split so heavily when team fights break out to prevent Rona from building stacks with the breaking point hitting multiple targets, or rely on one of these stuns. And against Tribe, landing a Yummy Catnip Frenzy, I'm not going to put my money onto it, so it's going to have to be that Holy Nova or the From Hell's Heart.
Yeah, it's definitely, their work is going to be cut out for them, but the opportunities will be there. It'll be, obviously, the reflex blocks going to be extremely important, and that's going to be one of the big concerns for me, is if they do get the reflex blocks in a Crucible, that should be enough for them to deal with everything that comes out from Vision Gaming. So Tribe, I feel like they definitely have a bit of an advantage in this draft. If they don't get run over early by this Kashka, things could get very, very dicey for Vision.
Yeah, it absolutely could. And the Kroll in the lane, while he will have the potential to get a lot of gold early on, I do think he can potentially be bullied out by this Rona, just because in this early portion of the game, yes, Kroll might have sustained by using his Spectral Smite, but if Rona's able to get in, get a couple attacks down, and then use Into the Fray to get out of the range of that Spectral Smite, Dianzio can slowly, piece by piece, start chipping away at Kaz's health, and Kroll takes a long time to clear lane minions. So we've got a fight breaking out here over the Treant.
Treant is going to go to Tribe, but Max Green, he is getting jumped on. TiVo, however, it gets turned around upon, and they get the first kill. Dianzio still in the thick of things, but he's going to be falling down, making this a 1-for-1. However, the fight is not done. T-Tigers, he's going to get the healing thanks to the Lyra, but it's just not quite going to be enough. So a double kill going over to Kaz to start this one off. Shaded Talent, got to be careful. You don't want to go too risky sticking around this enemy jungle. That may be exactly what just happened. Kaz is going to steal away at least one more jungle monster. Once he realizes that Dianzio is chasing Shaded Talent, he's going to stick around and try and take a second one, but now he's going to be in trouble from T-Tigers. Fights going on all over the place. Dianzio does take out Shaded Talent in the end. Kaz, just trying to stay alive, is not going to be able to, as he does fall as well. So all of a sudden, Denominate 2 minutes in, and we've got 5 kills on the board.
It's been non-stop fighting between these two teams so far. I think now that everybody's respawn has set them so far apart, we'll have a little bit of a lull, a little bit of a break here. But it was an actually really good start for the side of Vision Gaming, despite having the Kroll. Dianzio stuck in the fight long enough that it allowed Kaz to come through with a full stacked Spectral Smite, healed him back up, and then because of the long cooldowns on this Saw early on, when Kaz then turned his attention onto T-Tigers, he was able to build up those stacks, reduce T-Tigers' damage, come in with another Spectral Smite, and they were almost able to find a kill on Max Green too, but in the end, Max Green lived with maybe 1 or 2 attacks. They did bring down Kaz, resulting in a 3-2 lead for Tribe, but Vision Gaming, again, they've really come into a Vainglory 8 position, and they've proven time and time again that they can stick with the Vainglory 8 teams. And, going up against Tribe and holding your own against Tribe, what better team can you really put them against to show their stuff?
Yeah, I mean, that's the reigning world champion, and they're world champions for a reason. Kaz, though, in the lane, the biggest concern is going to be when this Lyra is there as well. Lyra can harass Kroll for days and make things very difficult, so it kind of puts Kaz in the spot where he has to either go all in for a fight like this, where he's trying to get the kill on Max Green, can't quite secure it. A nice Holy Nova stun, though, will keep Dianzio from being able to find a kill for himself. Now here comes T-Tigers rotating up as well, just to keep everyone at bay. And all of a sudden that, 3-on-3 potential is there, but I don't think either team is really going to commit. Each team really only looking for opportunities when they feel like they have a numbers advantage.
Yeah, absolutely. And Dianzio made it out just by a sliver there, and that's one of the big benefits that this Rona has over the Kroll. The Kroll doesn't have any way to get out of combat if he gets ganked. His only way to really survive is by fighting, right? So if you're on the run with Kroll, you're losing. But Dianzio on the Rona, if there's a gank potential that comes up, obviously, as we saw there, TiVo, Kaz, and Shaded Talent all jump onto Dianzio. The Bright Bulwark from Max Green goes out. The Into the Fray is used to get out of the fray by Dianzio. And then Rona's just safe, popping another Imperial Sigil on him can bring him back up to respectable health. And then from there, it's very difficult for a Kroll Kashka Grace combo to actually push a turret down, whereas Rona and Saw, they actually have a pretty substantial amount of objective control damage.
And the other big thing is going to be actually how Dianzio and Tribe deal with pushing in this lane. When you're up against a Kroll, you've already mentioned it, Kroll doesn't have great wave clear, so you're going to be pushing this wave very frequently underneath his turret. And then do you try and rotate at that point, or do you stick around and put pressure onto the turret itself? Thus far, with the exception of, I think, one push where Dianzio went underneath the turret to try and apply pressure, it has just been push the minions up and then go and rotate and look to either farm up with T-Tigers in the jungle or try and find a kill, on this Kashka if they can catch her out of position. But I feel like against a Krull, they should really try and take advantage of the fact that he doesn't have that AoE wave clear. And when they push these minions up, just go underneath the turret and start working on the turret instead, because Krull's going to take a long time before he can clear them out. TiVo gets caught a little bit here, but will get plenty of healing. However, Shaded Talent has to run, but Kaz in the meantime has taken down T-Tigers, putting in a lot of work on this Krull. Very similar to what we saw yesterday out of PvP Warrior, but now Dienzio, he's trying to find TiVo, can't quite get the kill onto that Kashka, the movement speed being just a little bit too much. And Kaz, he's looking to go after Max Green. Spectral Smite, will it be enough for a kill? Not quite. And this is the second time now that Kaz has come so close to getting that kill in the lane. He's now given up. He knows that he can't get away from Dienzio. But if he had just gotten one more weakness stack before the Spectral Smite came down, maybe he gets that kill on the Max Green, and it ends up being an even trade, but very unfortunate for him.
Yeah, absolutely. And looking at the builds, while I understand the Serpent's Mask on Rona, it's very, very good at helping her sustain, I'm kind of surprised we don't see a Poison Shift come out here. You're up against a Grace and a Krull who excel at sustained fights. You know, Krull, every single one of his basic attacks in a fight heals him for increasing amounts. And he has the Poison Shift, as well as that Spectral Smite can heal him as well. So there's a lot of sustain on this Krull, and without a Poison Shiv, Dienzio either just has to totally out-damage the healing, which will be difficult because of Kaz's ability to shut down damage coming out of Rona with his weakness stacks. It looks like he may be going for the Breaking Point second, which I do agree with. I'm interested to see if that third item, he does overlap that Poison Shiv in just to try to cut them down. It'll probably be dependent on how the fights go.
I don't think he does. A lot of the Poison Shiv versus Serpent's Mask is really just how you're going to play the Rona, and I feel like Dienzio wants to spend more time just spinning inside of the Red Mist than he does using those basic attacks. The Rona can apply mortal wounds just through her kit as well, so it doesn't become it's not, as crucial as it would be on someone like, say, a Vox who can't apply mortal wounds otherwise. But right now, Dienzio going in, doing some good damage, jumping over the wall so he can continue farming. His tribe, they aren't terribly interested in looking for these fights at the moment. Even though they've been able to find a lot of kills, they really just want to get pressure on the lane, start getting these minions pushed in deep, and just focusing on farming up, getting to their next item spikes.
Yeah, absolutely. And Dienzio does have a mortal wound on his foe splitter. Not as easy to keep it up and maintain it, but here we go.
Yeah, there's that Red Mist on all three targets. You can see the amount of work. He does get stunned, but they've already got the kill onto TiVo. That Red Mist when you Red Mist on 3 targets, it is just impossible to kill a Rona at that point. So great work by Dienzio positioning himself in such a way, but also kind of, you have to look at Vision Gaming with a triple melee composition into a Rona. They're just inviting those 3-man Red Mist spins onto you. So they're going to have to figure out some way to deal with that. Otherwise, they will not be able to find another kill onto Dienzio this game.
Yeah, when that Red Mist comes out, instead of colliding onto Dienzio, if you don't have a reliable stun that you can land to cancel it out, you need to split up. You need to make him spend his Blood Rage so that he can't continue to use the Red Mist. He has to get more hits in to be able to use that ability. Because as we saw there, once that Red Mist is down and all 3 of you are sitting on top of a Rona, you can't even count one by one those breaking stacks going up, because it's just stacks of 3s as that breaking point goes from 0 to 20 in like just a matter of seconds. And at that point, you have this big burst of weapon power on Rona, and Krull, while he doesn't have his breaking point complete yet, if he does go down that path, it's going to take him a substantially longer time to actually build up any stacks. And that's one edge that Rona does have here, is her ability to ramp up damage very, very early on in a fight, especially if you commit yourself to it.
Yeah, well, this is a fight that's not going to be committed to by either side, as it looked like they may have thought about it, but everyone does back off in the end. We're about to hit the 10-minute mark, and this is always a really good time to really take a look at the CS differences, the gold difference. See, it is about a 3,000 gold lead for Tribe. But you look at the CS numbers, it's 12 CS advantage for Dienzio in the lane, and about the same in the jungle for T-Tigers over TiVo. So the fact that both of these carries on the side of Tribe have a similar CS lead, means that they're going to be pretty comfortable with their current strength over their opponents.
Yeah, absolutely. And as this game goes on, the Krull, the Grace, the Rona, the Saw, they're all going to get more and more powerful. I'm a little worried about this Kashka, though. Through the mid game, she is going to provide a lot of burst with that Aftershock. Specifically, because of her low cooldown, she's able to get that ability or that effect off several times during a fight. But as we get into the later portion of the game, I mean, Dienzio has an Aegis, but oh, hold on here. This fight looks like it might be breaking out. Shaded Talent.
Yeah, Shaded Talent's going very low. Dienzio doing what he can to keep on him. They're targeting T-Tigers. He's just going to roadie run to the other side of this fight, trying to get everyone grouped up again. Divine Intervention does go out to heal up Tivo, and they're able to drop T-Tigers. Can they take down Dienzio now? A nice stun will prevent him from being able to output that much damage. Another Divine Intervention onto Tivo, but they're just going to be backing away from this one now. You got to figure, although Tivo is feeling confident with a full health bar, but he doesn't have a ton of energy, so he's not really able to get a lot of damage down. Dienzio hanging around just in case the members of Vision Gaming do try and go aggressive onto Max Green, but also to make sure that they cannot push up underneath this turret. So one kill does go through to Vision, but they're not really able to capitalize and do anything off of it.
Yeah, they haven't. They were able to take down T-Tigers, which is great. But, you know, as we talked a little bit earlier about the speed that a Rona can build up Breaking Point versus a Krull, the Rona had 9 Breaking Point stacks before Kaz got his second. Rona reached 20 Breaking Point stacks when Kaz reached his 5th. So, you know, you can definitely see the substantial speed that Rona is able to build up this ability. And that can be very dangerous, not specifically for Kaz, but Tivo. If Tivo gets targeted once Rona has 20 Breaking Point stacks, as well as building into the Bone Saw now to cut down on some of that armor that's being built, then it's just Dienzio can literally burst Kashka out of a fight in just 3-4 attacks. And that's going to burn a lot of utility out of Shaded Talent too.
Looks like Kaz trying to go in a little bit, get some damage done onto any target he can. T-Tigers quickly throws out a suppressing fire and gets a lot of damage done for just throwing one ability, to be completely honest, onto both Tivo and Kaz. Forces members of Vision to have to back away. Tribe, they're playing this one a lot more cautiously than they played game number 1, not wanting to overcommit. They know that, you know, if they do get caught in these stuns, they could end up going down, even though they have reflex blocks on all 3 members. And of course, Max Green's reflex block is a Crucible, so they have plenty of tools to be able to prevent those stuns from happening. They still are not playing, you know, they're not playing loose. They're playing very close to the chest, very tight with their movements, not wanting to overextend and give options to the side of Vision Gaming to get themselves back in this game.
Yeah, and Max Green has done such a fantastic job clearing out Vision and then trying to keep a slight Vision bridge over into the enemy's base through the Tri-Bush. And it's very, very effective, especially getting into this later portion of the game, because you don't want that yummy catnip frenzy to come from a bush. You don't want a From Hell's Heart to come from a bush where it's going to surprise you and allow the side of Vision Gaming to get that ambush that they want. So this game is going to come down to Max Green really setting up any kind of execution for his teammates. We've already seen T-Tigers get dropped very early on in these fights, because once Krull and Kashka get onto him, it's only a matter of time. They both have gap closers. We have 3 stuns onto a very immobile target. So T-Tigers definitely going to be their first target throughout all points. And then we'll have to see how they play it trying to take down Dienzio. We have the Shiver Steel now complete for Kaz. They could potentially slow him up, back away from the Red Mist. And once all that Blood Rage is burned, they can look to turn back into the fight and hopefully build up any kind of aggression that way.
Yeah, the Red Mist is on a very low cooldown, but that is still a window of time that you have if you are able to kind of waste the first Red Mist or land a stun. You have a small window of time where you can get a ton of damage down, where the Rona's not going to be building up that fortified health. And we'll see how that they try and take advantage of that. Dienzio did go ahead and get himself a Bone Saw, which, you know, a lot of times on these Ronas, we don't see a third offensive item, and it's going to be coming to a fight right now as they get a lot of damage in. Dienzio does jump out, though, because he took a lot of damage. The Atlas Pauldron from Shaded Talent was able to slow up the attacks coming out from everyone, so They weren't really able to get the amount of effect that they were hoping to, but look at where the teams are. Kaz, he's kind of out in the middle of the lane. That's not where you want to be starting a fight from. As a Kroll, you want to be able to try and start from a brush, and it's taking a good bit of damage here as well. Tribe, again, just focusing on just his harassment. Now we're going to go back in. T-Tigers is getting melted. The Divine Intervention will keep members of Vision Gaming alive. T-Tigers gets stunned up by the Yummy Cat and Frenzy. He will go down. Meanwhile, Kaz built up a few weakness stacks. Now he's just targeting onto Max Green, forcing him out of the fight. Dienzio is trying to take down Tivo, but Tivo is able to play safe underneath his turret. Kaz was not able to chase down Max Green, but now Dienzio, he's in a rough spot. He will find a kill, just not fearing this turret whatsoever. Going in and getting that kill. See if Kaz and Shaded Talent are going to be able to catch him. He jumps over the wall and will get out safely.
Yeah, excellent timing from Dienzio on that escape too, because he saw the lane minions as he rotated down. We're coming up in, so he waits for that wave to pass, jumps over the wall, and there's no vision from Kaz or Shaded Talent. There's no way for them to actually get over the wall, shy of Shaded Talent throwing down a flare and using his benediction. No flares in pocket though, so that's not going to be something he can potentially do. And that kind of worries me, is that Shaded Talent doesn't have any room for vision right now. He needs to sell this Dragon Blood contract and pick himself up some flares or some scout traps.
Yeah, either the Dragon Blood contract or the Healing Flask needs to be sold. Generally, you don't want to sell a Healing Flask while it's available for the cooldown, because it is still a pretty strong item to use in the middle of a fight. You got to figure once the next time it gets used, it's very likely to be sold. As Kaz, he's going to get jumped on, taking a lot of damage from this suppressing fire, and of course Dienzio just doing work on this Rona. Kaz is going to be forced out of this fight pretty much completely and will have to recall. So this is an opportunity now for Tribe to try and get some damage onto this turret, but then great job clearing out these minion wave. Kaz, oh, he's stuck around though. Now he could be in some trouble. If they can get the damage onto him, weakness stacks and the smite, there comes the Divine Intervention to get him healed up a little bit, but Shaded Talent had to be in a bad spot to do that. That's 2 kills now. Oh, the portal pulls Kaz the other way. Don't know if that's the way he really wants to go at this stage. He's going to get slowed up by this pressing fire, doing what he can with those weakness stacks, but it's not going to be enough. An ace for Tribe at the 18-minute mark. That's going to be at least 1 turret, and you know they're going to be looking to unleash the Kraken as well.
Yeah, they definitely will, and that was an unfortunate situation for Vision Gaming to be in. Kaz, although he did rotate up, and Krolls, they can have some success going into a fight even on low health. I think Kaz was a little bit too low on that engage. Dienzio obviously came down in the bush. Kaz was at like 1/3 of his health. They focused him down to a sliver, and then as soon as the Divine Intervention got cast onto Kaz, who was retreating, the whole team of Tribe immediately turned on to Shaded Talent, who's locked up during the channeling of that ability, and Dienzio having already built up stacks, and T-Tigers, we know what a Crystal Saw can do.
And having built up stacks.
What?
Also, I said T-Tigers also having built up stacks.
Yeah, but so, they just literally destroyed Shaded Talent. And again, Dienzio, when he has max stacks, he's going to take this Kashka down incredibly quickly, especially since Tivo only has a tier 1 armor. And then, as you mentioned, that portal, Kaz got sucked through the wrong side of it. It was only a matter of time before Tribe found that kill. Now they're in the base. They might be looking to close out this game if they can find a fight here.
Yeah, if they can find another kill or two, they should be able to close it out. Kraken onto the Vein Crystal turrets. Not much damage has been done to any of the players. Dienzio, he's going to jump on in to try and help this Kraken take the turret a little bit quicker. He's actually stutter stepping a little too quickly there, but they do get that turret down. Now they're on to the second turret. T-Tigers is getting focused down by Kaz, but the second turret has fallen. Dienzio is working on the Vein Crystal. He's still alive somehow and has not fallen. They can't take Dienzio down, and he's going to be able to potentially try and end the game. No, they finally get Dienzio after taking out the Kraken, and now Max Green, he can't finish it on his own. And so with that ace, the game will continue for Vision, at least for a little bit longer, but they no longer have any turrets.
Yeah, they're going to be in here just a little bit longer, but as you mentioned, no turrets. We could definitely see a backdoor coming out of this Rona. Dienzio has sold his boots and picked up a Poison Shiv. So that Poison Shiv did finally get built. Will help maintain the Mortal Wounds. As we mentioned, do have the Mortal Wound that comes out of the Foe Splitter. But because a lot of your focus is around using the red mist, you're not often using your foe splitter enough to actually maintain that mortal wound. It's only, I believe, a 2-second mortal wound. So when you do come out of that red mist, you'll be able to use your foe splitter. You'll be building up more blood rage with a couple more attacks. You'll be able to extend the duration of that mortal wound, because obviously every third attack is going to reapply that duration. And that's going to help them bring down Kaz, specifically because of Kroll's sustainability. Kaz has even gone into War Treads, so that's more health pool that Kaz is going to have. It's going to allow him to live longer in the fight. And Dienzio knew they needed something to look for one last fight to help close this one out. All right, appears we may have lost a tasty bacon. So Tribe, they've got shop control now, although the side of Vision, they are infused, ready to go. Tribe may be looking to force a fight here. They can get some damage down onto Kaz. T-Tigers can come through with that beautiful roadie run damage and maybe set up a play where, again, they only need to find really one kill here and they can push in for the victory. Or if Dienzio is allowed to rotate down through the jungle, if this rest of Tribe can stop the recalls, here we go.
Here we go. That's going to be suppressing fire down. Kaz is very low. The attack slow is out as well. First Divine Intervention used, but they've got T-Tigers down. Kaz extremely low. The heal will come through again. Nice stun gets blocked, and that's going to be the first kill for Tribe as they take down Kaz. And now Dienzio, he's going to go right after this Koshka with the heal for Max Green. He doesn't even need to. We already saw how long it took Koshka and Shaded Talent to take out Dienzio earlier. I think Dienzio is just going to try and look to end this game, but a big stun. Going to buy a little bit of time. Koshka needs to get back onto Dienzio, but Dienzio is just way too durable, and he is going to be able to end this game, even with a few stuns coming out from Shaded Talent. It's just not enough, and Tribe take game number 2. Not quite as close this time around, even though the kills were very close. It really felt like Tribe was in control for the majority of this game, but still not an easy game for Tribe. Vision Gaming is putting up a strong fight, but just not quite able to seal the deal against Tribe, and Tribe have now match point on the horizon.
Yeah, they absolutely do, and Max Green, during that last portion of the game when they were able to kill Kaz and force TiVo back to base to heal, Dienzio did get stunned by the Holy Nova, but very important, Max Green was able to actually use his Crucible to block the Atlas Pauldron that followed. That helped Dienzio get the last couple hits that he needed to go ahead and close out the game. And as you mentioned, that's Tribe taking up a 2-0 lead in this best of 5 against Vision. And so if you're Vision, you have to do something here. I mean, I understand the weapon lane Kroll is kind of one of your surprise pocket picks that you've managed to make it work. And it looked really well through a majority of this game, but this could be your last game of the tournament. Anything else that you have hiding, it has to come out now.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll be jumping into this next matchup here in just a quick second as we look to get into our third game. It could be the last one here for Dienzio. Could be the last game here for Tribe if they could win it all right here and claim their championship.
Could be the last game for everybody, Dragonborn.
Could be.
Yeah, there is a possibility of this being the last competitive 3v3 game that we have.
I mean,
Yeah.
if you're only counting this in Vainglory 8, I mean,
Yeah.
there's other tournaments out there. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are ready to get into this next matchup here. We're up 2-0. It is Tribe going into game 3.
I mean, the world could end tonight at midnight, and that would make this the last competitive 3v3 game that we have.
All right. You know what? We're jumping into the draft. Tribe back on A side. We'll see it. Been awesome so far. They've been long, grueling matches. You know, Vision being one of the few teams to take Tribe over 20 minutes per game. If they could do it in this third game, they'd be the only team to take Tribe over 20 minutes for the entire series. We'll see if they can do it right now.
Well, we have a Ringo band right away, which is actually pretty interesting, especially since it's coming out of Tribe here in game 3. Obviously something we saw Dienzio get on and just have a absolute beast performance on. And it's not often we see these power picks get banned on A side, unless if you're trying to set something up for later on in the draft, possibly going into that Sky pick that we know D'Enzio for.
I mean, it very well could be. We'll see what the ban is going to be. Again, this is Tribe saying we're going to get either Grace, Turnwalker, or Varia. It is going to be the Grace that they do take. Varia was open, but is not going to be picked up. And it is going to be Arden. Then grab the Arden pick surprises me here because Vision Gaming, if they had wanted something like the Varia, they could have grabbed it and then, still had either Arden or Lyra once it got back to them, regardless of what Tribe did in their bans. So a little bit surprising to me that they went for the Arden here, but they banned away T-Tiger's Saw. You've been playing the Saw throughout the first 2 games, so forcing Tribe to have to change things up here in game number 3.
Yeah, absolutely forcing them to do so. And maybe this is your weapon, Arden, Tasty. Maybe that's what Vision's going to pull out here. Maybe this is that card they have hidden in their back pocket.
I mean, I have gotten to see their weapon Arden before.
That's why I'm saying it now.
It was fantastic, but I just don't know if it's going to get pulled out here. Varia is the ban for Tribe, so we are not going to get to see a Varia here today, unfortunately, if this is the final game. But right now, I think for the side of Vision, you look towards something like it's tough. You're in a kind of a tough spot because if you go for the Rona, Sky just gets picked up. If you pick up the Sky, they're going to grab Taka. If you go for the Black Feather, they're going to grab Rona. So they're in kind of a really rough spot with this pick right now because of the way that this draft went and because of the fact that they felt they had to ban away the Saw.
Yeah, now they've got the Fox out on the table here, and D'Enzio going to be pulling out the Scarf, and a Glaive looking probably for T-Tigers, although I wouldn't put it past them to switch it up if the draft so suits it. But this is very classic T-Tigers and D'Enzio scenario here.
Very much a classic T-Tigers and D'Enzio scenario. I mean, this is kind of like almost a signature picks for the two of them. We'll see if they can make it work. Vision Gaming got to put some thought into their final picks. Or their final pick, as they're going to be, where do they want to go in the jungle? You could try and run something like the Kashka, have that early assassination. They could look for the Taka, but I feel like, the assassinations, kind of targets are going to be very difficult because there's a Grace on the other side. And once you go in to try and assassinate a target, Grace just throws a divine intervention on them, and all of a sudden that assassination just does not work any longer.
Yeah, and I'd almost actually like to say that Jungle Rona might not be a bad idea here. Very similar to the interaction that a Rona and a Black Feather have. Rona is actually very good into Glaive, so that's something we could potentially see. The Sky is still on the table, so that's something we could have pulled out here too. But they're going to go with the Taka, and while Taka in the early game early mid game can have a lot of gank potential against a Scarf, I think Taka into Scarf is not quite as game-changing as we get into the later phases of the game.
And it's not as game-changing. And again, like I said, when you go in, you X-Retsu a Scarf, Grace just throws a Divine Intervention on him immediately, and all of a sudden that massive burst that you have as a Taka just gets negated. So I don't like the Taka pick into the Grace. Even though it does do well against the Scarf generally, I think just because of what else is on the team, it's not really going to be able to have that same level of effect.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll have to see how it plays out. It is going to be D'Enzio on that fabled Scarf of his, T-Tigers. Again, Kashka, always going to be the one that he's known for. Glaive, something we've definitely seen him play at, the maximum potential or maximum level. So I'm excited to see this matchup. I think there's potential for Vision, specifically on the Vox, can be that late game hyper carry. But it's going to be very difficult to shut down D'Enzio in the later portions of the game.
All right. So we are going to be getting onto the fold for game number 3. What could be the final game of this VISPRO season if Tribe are successful? You see a very different start to this game. Tribe, they want to go right for the throat, going in aggressively into the Vision Gaming jungle. looking to steal away some of these camps. They're going to get that first treant. Tebow, he is just going to get dropped. And that is a very quick first blood for the side of Tribe. And they're going to continue to look for more as they try and steal away some more of this jungle. Shaded Talent is going to do what he can to kind of, try and deter this, but it's not really going to be able to stop too much from being stolen away. Meanwhile, on the other side of jungle, Max Green looking to prevent Kaz from being able to steal anything away on the answer, and he was able to do that successfully as well. So this is a great start for Tribe, and now Kaz, he's going to be in trouble as the healing flask gets used. Doesn't matter. Tebow, he's going to be the target once again. Still level 1, does not have that Kaku available to get out of harm's way, and he's just going to get chased down, punted into the wall, and taken out 3-0 to start this game.
Yeah, brilliant start for the side of Tribe, and getting this Scarf ahead early, getting some gold into his pocket early on is definitely going to be beneficial for them moving forward. Dienzio right now is sitting at 9 CS to Kaz's 0, so we've got a little bit of an edge developed here in the lane. Tebow also on 0 to T-Tiger 6, Max Green even sitting on a farm right now. So Tribe, they're already sitting 1,500 gold up, and it was before the 2-minute mark that was the case.
Yeah, that was a phenomenal start for Tribe. It doesn't get a whole lot better than the early game that they just had for themselves. Right now, Max Green, he's going to get chased out by Tebow a little bit, but Tebow's going to get stunned by T-Tigers. Not into a wall, though, so he's able to walk away after the fact and isn't going to get collapsed upon, but it does mean he has to give up on trying to contest this Elder Treant. So that's going to go over to T-Tigers. As once again, Tribe just finding ways to apply pressure in the first few minutes of the game.
Yeah, absolutely. And that is one of the most devastating ways you have to set a glaive play up to be effective. If you use your afterburn and you're not using it into obstacles, you can actually punt away an enemy to safety because of the distance traveled. So when you're on a glaive, and obviously T-Tigers knows this as well, you need to target those afterburns towards some sort of obstruction, a wall, just towards your team, anywhere where you can continue to capitalize damage on them thereafter, because glaive, while he does have one of the longest range...
Look at how
Tebow
just gets chunked down by T-Tigers. And the Elder the Treant was stolen. Now Shaded Talent, he's going to get knocked into that wall. He gets taken down very low as well. This is just Tribe showing no mercy here in game number 3, being very aggressive.
Yeah, that was literally the definition of melting somebody onto Tebow there in the jungle. That for him to die that quickly this early on in the game without a just massive advantage on the side of Tribe is huge for them, but they might have found a kill here on Dienzio. Tebow's looking for it.
And Tebow is looking for it, but they just don't quite have enough damage to get it yet. Tebow could still try and go underneath the turret for it, as Dienzio is extremely low, but Dienzio, I feel like he's trying to bait them because he does still have a healing flask. So does Max Green. It definitely feels like they're trying to get them to overcommit underneath the turret. Doesn't look like it's going to happen just yet, but they're sticking around. This is where it could end up happening. Tebow goes underneath the turret. That's going to be Max Green taking him very low, forcing the healing flask out of him. Max Green finally uses his healing flask, and T-Tigers to the rescue. Comes flying in from the lane and finds a kill. Now Kaz has to use his healing flask. He's going to get chased down. One more Spitfire will not connect. Tebow is still lurking, trying to get onto Dienzio. Neither of these two have a healing flask any longer, so Tebow does get one kill onto Dienzio, finally getting Vision Gaming on the board. But this has just been a bloodbath here early. Yeah, it's been Tribe in control of pretty much this entire game so far, and while they were able, Vision were able to pick up a kill onto Dienzio, he's still quite far ahead, and T-Tigers looking to rotate over for some more farm here. It's only the jungle duos, or the jungle shop duos, but T-Tigers is denying farm. He took the Treant. That was what I was commenting on. He just took the Treant again. I mean, look at his CS compared to everyone, not just compared to his opponent, compared to everyone. He is right behind Dienzio when it comes to CS. He is over double Tebow's farm currently. He has just been constantly stealing away these jungle camps and now going into the lane, able to get that first turret. T-Tigers, this is the T-Tigers that everyone that plays jungle fears going up against.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, I did miss that treant. I was looking at D'Enzio returning to the lane, but you are absolutely right. For T-Tigers to be so close to the laners in CS, it really shows the jungle dominance he's establishing right now. And he's looking for more. He's found Kaz again.
Yeah, he's making this a solo mission. He is now 6-0-1 at the 6-minute mark in a game where his team has 7 kills, 100% kill participation, and 6 of the 7 kills are on him. He has just been constantly applying pressure. Right now, TiVo's doing the right thing. He's doing what he can, getting at least some farm from the tribe side of the jungle, but there's just so much pressure being put on right now that he has to come back home. He can't just try and stay out there. T-Tigers, he's just going underneath the turret to knock Kaz into the rest of his team. Fountain does get used by Max Green to keep T-Tigers alive. Now D'Enzio is the target. TiVo's gonna start burning. There's a Dragon's Breath, trying to find as much as they can. T-Tigers, have they stayed over a little too long? That is gonna be a kill for TiVo right before he gets punted out and gets himself to safety on a sliver of health. So another kill for the side of Vision. And again, maybe Tribe being very, very confident, rightfully so, but you do need to rein it in just a little bit. You don't want to play too aggressively and end up throwing this lead away.
You're absolutely right. It was a little bit too long that they stuck around there. And, you know, in the end, it did cost them a life, but I don't think they're really hurting too much. Kaz, though, he's not looking to get some damage on this turret, but it doesn't look like Tribe are having anything to do with that as D'Enzio comes through with the kill there.
Yeah, Kaz just trying to do what he can there. Unfortunately, wasn't really able to make too much progress as Tribe. That's going to be TiVo getting found once again as he tried to use the Kaku, just immediately got stunned. So that's kind of going to be a wasted ability. Now Shaded Talent going to get hunted down, but Tribe don't want to go into that Crystal Sentry just yet. Keep in mind, we are still only 8 minutes into this game. It is very, very early. It's just that Tribe have just accelerated the pace of this one so heavily.
Yeah, exactly. And I wouldn't disagree if we see a Shiver Steel come out of T-Tigers just to help keep Kaz and TiVo from making it out of combat. Might be a really smart pickup for him, but then again, he may also just go for all damage. You know, it's really up in the air right now. We do have the Spell Sword complete. He has the Heavy Steel.
It's going to be at minimum 2 Spell Swords. We could even see T-Tigers go for like 3 Spell Swords, which we have seen players do before, but I would assume he's going to get at least 2 Spell Swords in this build, as he's already got himself now the breaking point just to ramp up his damage even more. Kaz, he knows that there's really just nothing he can do. There's no jungle camps for him to farm. The wave, he's pushed up to a point where if he tries to go and farm up, he's just going to get ganked immediately. And Tribe, they know exactly what they're doing here as well. They are freezing this wave, saying, you know what, if you want to get any sort of gold, you need to come into a position where you are going to get killed.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a scary point to be at for them, for the side of Vision, as D'Enzio, they're sitting here holding this wave at this point so that D'Enzio and Tribe's minions die, and that's keeping Kaz from actually getting any of that CS. So that was a whole wave that Kaz just missed out on there. And now as the waves meet back up, there's this gank potential, as if Kaz comes into the lane, we see that obviously with the first turret down, he has to extend incredibly far to actually get to those minions. And with T-Tigers here on the glaive, the gank potential is just absolutely insane.
Yeah, that's a full wave of minions that Kaz just completely missed out on because they couldn't go up to try and farm it. That was expert holding of a wave. And you know, as we go into 5v5, that's something that we're going to see a lot more of, is teams holding waves like that. In 3v3, you know, you can't hold a wave indefinitely. That wave was about to crash into the turret, which would have reset it anyway. But in 5v5, you're going to be able to freeze waves a lot more effectively, like what we just saw there. And so that's something that we can kind of look forward to in the future of Vainglory. But right now, TiVo trying to make plays happen, trying to get onto the Scarf in the back lines. But meanwhile, T-Tigers, actually Max Green gets credit for that kill, but T-Tigers was able to set that one up. They land a stun onto TiVo, and he gets shredded. And now Max Green, he knows he can't really fight 1v1 against the Arden. Well, he can fight him, but he's not really going to be able to do a whole lot there. So the two captains just going to have fun dancing with each other for a little bit while the rest of Tribe push in that turret.
Yeah, and, again, this is Tribe on some of their most comfortable picks, and it's really showing strong for them right now. Dienzio, now that he has this Aegis complete, it's going to be very difficult for this Taka to actually have a huge impact. And this is what I was talking about. As we get later into the portions of the game, this Taka does start to fall off a little bit. He doesn't have the Clockwork complete yet either, which is a little bit later than I would like to see. But, again, it's because T-Tigers has just done such a fantastic job all game long of maintaining control of his jungle. The whole jungle.
Yeah, the entire jungle.
T-Tigers jungle. And now this is going to be a gold mine going over to the side of Tribe. That big old -1 payout for him there. But
yeah, that is just a bug with the Spectate client. Don't worry, they did not somehow manage to lose a gold from taking the gold miner. It's just an issue with the Spectate client. We don't actually get to see the payout numbers, but it was pretty much a full payout, I believe. So it's a good amount of gold, 400 gold each going on over. But right now, again, Tribe, they are in complete control of this game. Vision Gaming, I mean, they're doing what they can. They're trying to farm up where they can get gold, but it's just everywhere they move. If they go past this first destroyed turret, they are in risky territory. And Tribe, they know exactly this chokehold that they have. Oh, Kaz goes a little too far forward. Takes a ton of damage. Now Tivo is the target instead, as Kaz starts to get himself out of harm's way. Fountain getting used by Shaded Talent. But once again, stun coming through. Nice block by Kaz to make sure he doesn't get the stun afterwards. Oh, that doesn't even matter as he gets taken out. Tivo trying to take down Dienzio. Max Green still hasn't even used his ultimate, or actually, I think he might have used. No, he didn't use an ultimate because that's Boots in his inventory. Didn't use an ultimate, didn't use a fountain. None of it was needed, and they got themselves 2 kills on the side of Tribe. They are just completely dominating this game. I think it feels like Vision, they've kind of accepted their fate at this point. They're still going to do what they can, but they know that realistically, unless Tribe kind of hands them numerous opportunities, that they are not going to really be able to get back into this game very effectively.
Yeah, definitely a rough spot to be in. Kaz had a great block on the afterburn, avoided the stun. Didn't matter. That double hit coming through, T-Tigers executing it a regular basic attack, then using the Twisted Stroke for that instant attack reset. Was able to burst through the remaining health of this Vox, who has been forced to go with armor incredibly early. He does have a Poison Shiv and a Breaking Point complete, but he's not even working into that third tier 3 item yet because he's been forced to defend himself against the Glaive, who, looking at the builds, is almost the same build, except for he's sold out the Flask and has a third tier 3 offensive item. So just shows how dominant T-Tigers has been, and here it goes more.
Yeah, Kaz getting stunned up, and now he's just going to get chased down. Does have a lot of utility to get himself out of trouble. Is it going to be enough? The Gauntlet gets used, doesn't get any stuns. It was blocked. Tivo doing what he can to try and dance around. Stuns up Dienzio as he walks through the Gauntlet wall with the ultimate running, but it doesn't matter. Tivo's down. Kaz does get a kill onto T-Tigers. That's actually some pretty big shutdown gold going over, but can they find any more? Kaz is looking to try and do what he can to clear out these minions, maybe get some damage onto the members of Tribe, but Dienzio, he's very far ahead as well, and they're not going to be able to get much there, but it is a 1-for-1. Like I said, a large amount of shutdown gold going over to Kaz off of that one.
Yeah, absolutely was. As, at this point, anything that the side of Vision can get for themselves is desperately needed right now. And Kaz, again, he needs to get a third offensive item on to help him build up these breaking point stacks. That's really going to be their only chance to go ahead and try to find victory here. And, if T-Tigers keeps up the aggression and Dienzio, working into his 4th item, he's even gone with the Spellfire, just so that when he does hit somebody with a Spitfire, not only does it tick that burning damage from the Spitfire itself, it's going to tick additional damage, which is a very scary thought, because we've seen the side of Vision get away on just a fraction of health several times. That additional damage over time could definitely be game-changing for them. And with only 2 turrets remaining, 15 minutes up, and it looks like Tribe are getting this Kraken uncontested.
Yeah,
I think this should be game.
Even if it was going to be contested, Tribe would have a little bit of an idea that their opponents were coming. If you look at the amount of vision Max Green's been putting down with that contraption during this time. But it really just felt like Tribe, not wanting to go too aggressively into the opponent's base. We're just waiting for that Kraken to spawn so that they can get a chance to go ahead and secure that and look to end the game with a Kraken push. That feels like where we're heading now as Kraken makes her way down the lane. And obviously, if T-Tigers can find an opportunity to afterburn someone into the team, he's going to likely take it. But for now, it's just pushing in these minions, waiting for the Kraken to get here and join them, and then looking for a fight in the enemy base. Either you get a kill, or if you just spend enough time distracting the enemy while the Kraken works on these turrets, they're going to go for a team fight. Nice block by Kaz will prevent the stun from the afterburn. Great gauntlet comes through. Will stun up just the captain, but it is buying a little bit of time for them to work on this Kraken, but you see Kraken still barely taking any damage as the first turret falls. Dragon's Breath going to get used. Kaz is just melting, gets a nice heal from the fountain. Is going to be staying alive just a little longer. Divine Intervention's getting thrown onto Dienzio, but it looks like there will be the first kill of this fight as the second turret falls, and a half-health Kraken is now onto the Vein Crystal, and Tribe will be taking the third game of this series. They will be completing the sweep here in the finals, and they will be your VISPRO Winter Season champions.
Yeah, and it couldn't have been more convincing as a 3-0 sweep. Now, Vision, again, I can't say it enough. They put up a phenomenal fight through every single one of these games. In the end, Tribe got on something that is very well in their comfort zone and something that's not really popular in the meta right now. And I think that might have been part of what threw Vision off a little bit in this last game. It's been a while since we really saw Jungle Glaive be a huge threat. For a while there, he was back up in the lane. But Scarf is somebody we really haven't seen in quite some time at all. So, I think again, just the hero pool in general that the side of Tribe has makes it very difficult for any team in the world to compete with them. Obviously, again, world champions, but I think a lot of that is due to their draft strategy and just how comfortable they are on all these different heroes and the combinations that they set up. And again, Max Green, just the ultimate playmaker. You can't have a better captain than him.
Yeah, absolutely incredible plays from all 6 of these players. And again, great job by Vision Gaming. I don't want to understate how much they stuck with Tribe for games 1 and 2. Game 3 was obviously a bit more of a blowout, but by that point, you gotta wonder, was that just their mentality was broken at that point, or what the case was. But to stick with Tribe throughout those first 2 games, it was very, very well played by them. But Tribe Gaming is just a whole nother level, and they were able to take this 3-0 and take their spot, continuing off of their World Championship victory and rolling right on in to a VISPRO Championship as well.
Yes, congratulations, ladies and gentlemen. We are officially announcing it. It is Tribe. Tribe Gaming, they are our champions here for the winter season. And they can feel good completing, not only getting the World Championship, but this roster, actually, 2-time winner of VISPRO. They won it under the Immortals roster, under the Immortals organization. They have won it again here under Tribe. So Dienzio, he can feel great about being a 2-timer here on VISPRO. As him, Max Green, and T-Tigers, as well as Excelsior. Excelsior coming in, man, and just, as a sub this entire week, playing phenomenal games. But, of course, coming into the championship, fitting to have their full starting lineup come in. And, they showed up tonight. They wanted to win this. Dienzio told me at the very beginning that this was that he wanted to win. So, Max Green reminded me that they've won 3 VIS Pros. So, congratulations to them. I do apologize. Should have looked that up before. To make sure we had them all in. But again, congratulations again. This is the end of the winter season here for VISPRO for our 3v3 tournaments. I've been excited to be here hosting these matches. Again, thanks to our casters, Tasty Bacon, Denomine, Sean Ostino, who casted earlier matches this week and last week. Thanks to our moderators. They've been awesome. And all you viewers coming in and watching, as well as the teams who've showed up and been absolutely professional through the entire tournament. Make sure you guys tune in for more news, though, coming from VIS, because we will be announcing some future tournaments, which I think you guys will be excited to watch, as we'll be getting ready for, of course, the exciting 5v5 Vainglory map. And you know VISPRO will be right there to be able to bring you guys the competitive matches there. They'll be probably first. We'll be trying to get that out as soon as possible. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Make sure you guys go watch some other Vainglory streams that are live right now. That's it for us. Good night, everybody.
Ben, Sam, and Ken are on separate journeys to defeat the menacing Vile Dragon. But let's just say luck isn't on their side. If only there was a way for them to find each other and band together. Well, that's why there's Band. It's a mobile app that allows people to come together using common interests. With Band, you can find fellow gamers, chat, schedule gaming sessions, and conduct polls. Stage epic battles with friends while sharing videos and photos along the way. So try Band today. Band. Be together.